Welcome to the Seattle Investors Club podcast with Julie Clark and Joe Bauer, where we share the nuts and bolts of real estate investing from our 20-plus years in the industry. Sit back, relax, listen, and immediately take action. Are you ready? Here we go. Welcome to another edition of the Seattle Investors Club podcast, where we talk about the nuts and bolts of real estate investing. My name is Joe Bauer, and I have my lovely co-host Julie Clark on the call. Julie, how are you doing?
I'm doing lovely. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, lovely.
Lovely. No,
my
I'm doing
lovely
good.
Co-host is doing lovely.
Yes, I am. And we have two lovely people on the podcast with us today that we're very excited about.
Oh, yeah. Husband and wife Powerhouse team, Christine and Olivier. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, doing great.
Yeah, hi.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we've been wanting to have you guys on the podcast for some time now, so this is some exciting stuff. Finally got you.
There you go. Here we are.
Do you guys like my joke that I was cracking myself up? You guys get it?
Yeah, your
Husband, wife, powerhouse team.
Oh, that's a nice joke.
How we do it. Get it? Do it. I thought I was so funny, guys. I was cracking myself up when I said that.
We are a little slow to understand things, now. So it takes us about 2 days to understand things, and then we react.
Well, yeah. I'm just giving Joe reasons to name our podcast explicit, so we get more listens. It's pretty funny. I don't know. One time I must have dropped an F-bomb, and then I saw that our podcast said explicit on there. So now every time we're thinking of what topic we're going to cover, for some reason my mind goes straight to the gutter. I can't help it. Can't help it. Got to stay entertained.
I know, right?
So let's do it. Let's kick this off.
Yeah, guys.
All right.
Welcome. Let's tell us about your background. Where are you guys from? How did you guys meet? How did you get into real estate? Give us the full spectrum.
You don't know where we meet and how we meet. It's not glamorous. So basically, my name is Olivier. I'm French. Christine is Korean. We actually met in Atlanta. I was visiting there, and she was living there. We met on St. Patrick's Day. I was drunk. She was drunk. We were in a bar. We met. And 5 years later, we have 3 young kids. And
yeah, we actually met right in front of the restrooms. I was waiting in the line, which is so romantic. Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's how we met. And I'm from Korea, so we are both from foreign countries. But I've been living here a very long time, and we absolutely love here. And what the opportunities that is available for us.
Awesome. I don't know why I didn't expect you guys to say that, as far as that you met when you were drunk in line at a restaurant.
Oh, we share a lot.
That makes me love you even more. My God.
I know too much information.
All right. Awesome stuff. Well, how long you guys been flipping? Have you been doing that since you met, or what were you guys doing prior to jumping in real estate other than drinking a lot?
That hasn't stopped though. But so we actually started to flip when we moved to Seattle. So prior to that, so for on my side, I was actually a dog trainer for the special forces and for the police for different things, drug detection, explosive detection. I did pretty much everything in the dog industry. And Christine will tell you what she did.
Yeah, and I worked in actually software development architect for big companies before I did this. So Olivier said that we just started flipping 2.5 years ago, but we actually did flipping before. So when Olivier moved to US first time after meeting his lovely wife, he so we like, okay, I had a home, and I told him, can you do these few things, like replacing floors and painting. So
you're testing him out as a husband. That's good.
I did a door back then. So
no, I was like, here's a free resource, let's use it. So I was living in a townhome, and I asked him to do a few things, and I listed a home, and we made some money, not a lot of money, and then we bought a house. And the house was really outdated, and that was his kind of main job, to renovate the entire home. And then after that we sold the home, and we ended up making like $45,000 in like 6 months.
Is this in Atlanta?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in Atlanta.
That was Atlanta. So when we bought the house, we didn't have a plan to move here. We were planning on living there for a long time, and he was just slowly updating the home. But then I got a job offer from Amazon, so we had to sell it and move as soon as we bought a house. So that's how we end up getting into real estate. He had to finish the whole thing. We sold it for $45,000, and we came here. Then we maybe we should think about flipping, because he was doing a really good job. And then, it's just something that, we kind of ended together. So.
Wow. So you sort of accidentally fell into it.
Yeah, totally. That wasn't planned to flip the house. I mean, we were planning on living there for a long time, but then we suddenly had to move right away. So we had to speed up on the process for the rehab. So we did a mini rehab without any experience or anything. We make some good money out of it, and we fell in love with it. That's great money to get.
Yeah, nice, awesome. So it sounds like Olivier was tasked from the start as the guy that did all the project management, swung the hammer, and did you actually do the work yourself on that house, or did you hire?
Yeah, I did a lot myself. I actually did use some subs, but I did some of the flooring. I did all the painting. I did a few things. I'm really limited. I'm not a handyman at all. I'm actually really bad. So I did what I can, but we used a lot of subs. That was the start. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's looking back, it's really funny because now we know everything about real estate, or we think that we know most of everything about real estate. Back then we had no knowledge, but we found the home that was off market. The owner was moving out of the state, and they wanted to sell it fast, as is. We just randomly found this house, and we became friends with the owner, and they sold it to us. And so we had no idea about anything, but we bought it off market from the people moving out of the state, and it was just enough outdated. We could have add value and sold it for profit. So
wow.
I think it's just kind of meant to be,
Right, exactly. No doubt about it. So is that so that was kind of a natural progression into how you guys ended up separating duties. I mean, you recently quit your job. How long has it been now? 6 months, 9 months, or?
No, I quit at the end of January, so it's been about 4 months.
Yeah. 4
months. 4 months. Crazy. Yep. So how did you get to the point that you decided you were good to go? I mean, obviously, I know you guys have been crushing it for quite a while in your business, which is super impressive. I would say out of almost everybody in the club, watching your steady climb, from just stepping in when we met you, a few years ago to where you are now. I mean, you guys have just systematically just continued to grow like textbook almost, Right. Very impressive. I mean, you guys have not gotten sidetracked. Well, maybe let me put that back. I think you had one daughter when we met you. So I'd say you're a little sidetracked because now you have 3. But either that or you're celebrating your wins in the right way. But,
we like to make our life complicated. So we keep adding kids.
Yeah. So how did you decide it was time to quit, Christine?
Well, so what we did is basically we set goals, and we said that from the beginning, in order for me to quit this job, we need to reach certain financial goals. So one thing was to have enough rental income. So we've been doing this about 2.5 years here in Seattle, and we have 8 rental properties now. So we met some of those goals that we set, so that I can actually quit my job. So that's kind of how we did, make sure that you first set the goal so that what will allow you to be able to quit. And it's not like, just to quit and let's see, if I can, if I can really do it, because we have young kids. We also have employees now too. We have to make sure that we can financially sustain, for a long time. So we did all that, and when we reached that goal, I was like, okay, it's time for me to quit and focusing on building business.
Right. Do you guys, on those 8 rentals that you've bought, have you bought those steadily through the years, or have you bought them all in the last year, or are they like flips that didn't turn out to be great, or you, for whatever reason, just kind of decided, well, we'll keep it as a rental, but it wasn't your intention in the beginning to keep it as a rental? How did you end up with the 8?
No, I mean, all the houses we bought for rentals, they were planning to be rentals.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we actually, fortunately, we haven't actually lost any money by flipping, even to this day. So as Olivier mentioned, all the rentals we have now were intentionally purchased as rentals. So the first year, when we got into business, we bought 3 single family. And the second year we added more, and third year we added more. So every year we have goals for rentals and goals for flips. So that's kind of how we've been adding it.
What are your goals for rentals and flips right now?
For this year, we will probably purchase about 4 more rentals for the remaining year. When I say 4, it doesn't have to be 4 single family. We are targeting more like multi-family. Either 4plexes or a combination of, the duplexes or something like that. So we want to add 4 more doors. And for the flips, we set goals in terms of dollar amounts. We don't really say, let's do 30 deals. We usually say, okay, for year 2018, our goal is to net about $750,000 in net profit. That's kind of how we set the goals.
Awesome. I love that. Because nobody talks about it like that, as far as, you don't hear people setting their goals on net amount they want to make, you know what I mean? As far as people always talk, it always amazes me. How many have you flipped, or how many flips have you done? Well, that really is a number that doesn't matter, right?
Exactly. That's why we found out, actually. What we figured out on the first year, we did 15 deals. That was awesome. We made good money out of it. But the second year, we actually did less deal, but we make more money.
Right.
We're like, that's not the amount of deals, it's the quality of the deals. So that's important.
Yeah. So what we decide to focus, every year we actually sit down together and then set the goal for the year. And we talked about, it's really not the number of deals, because if you set the goal for number of deals and you chase after all the numbers, like, you're trying to buy whatever makes sense, but if you set the goal target for net profit, then you actually really validate and evaluate each deal in the place, does it really make sense? Should we really do this? One of the reasons we do it this way is because finding quality contractors and keeping them long time is not really easy. So, we're trying to see with the limited resources we have, what keeps us more in the long term, which is why we decide to actually focusing on dollar amount rather than like a number of deals.
Exactly. Have you guys considered the prehab model at all, or are you still going full on rehab flip?
We decide to avoid gut jobs unless we really have to. Because we realize that, when we're focusing on gut job, it takes a long time and we have a lot more dependencies, a lot more unknowns. So we've been focusing more and more on like cosmetics. So that's kind of what we are doing. I don't know if we will actually do prehab or not. That's something that we haven't really explored yet. But we are more focusing on cosmetics.
Well, if you decide you want to do that, give me a call. We'll go talk about it together and we can talk shop on.
We are open to anything. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people who are used to flipping, they just need to they can't get their mind wrapped around what I call prehab, which is, I think it's fun, right? Because A, it takes care of the contractor problem. You don't have to be so committed to so many contractors, and B, it's just pure fun to see how little you can do, to see how much you can make, because, you might budget to make less than you'd make on a full flip, but with the current market that we're in, you might get this crazy lift anyways without the time, the marriage to the contractors, without the financial risk and all that stuff. So if anybody can I'd love to see you guys do some of those, because you would kill it. But so when you're looking, are you guys buying any out-of-state rentals, or are you pretty much all in-state at this point?
Well, that's a discussion we have for quite a long time. Because, I mean, definitely number makes a lot of sense out of states. We hear all these crazy number and everything, so we kind of like it. No, our concern is when you buy out of states, then you are far away from it. So how we do if there is a big issue, how we do, to manage it. We can't really trust the property management that much. So we are still in negotiation with that.
Yeah. What we've been doing lately is trying to build a relationship with people who's doing it. And potentially partnership with them, instead of we trying to start from the scratch,
Right.
So we do have the people who's doing multifamily out of state. We might partner with them to, maybe syndicate together, something like that. That's kind of an area that we're exploring this year.
Yes. Awesome. So I think there sounds like a natural progression or separation of duties between the two of you. But how did you guys decide? Obviously, you were still working when you got started, Christine, and you gave Olivier the test of husband test to see if he was going to pass the handyman test or not. But how did you guys actually sit down? And there's a lot more to running a real estate business, and whether you're rehabbing, prehabbing, wholesaling, or whatever else you're doing, regular old brokerage, there's a lot more to it than just swinging the hammer or that kind of stuff. How do you guys decide on separation of duties? How did you have that talk? I know you guys probably have some written manual for yourselves, but tell us about that.
So I guess at the beginning, it came pretty naturally. She's good at number. I'm good at managing people. So it kind of makes sense. But then more you grow, and then more you really have to sit down and especially when you hire people, now you need to have a structure because it becomes a real company. So that's kind of what we did. So at the beginning, it went naturally. And after that, we all sit down and dispatch every roles to everybody.
Yeah. So what happened was I got my real estate license from the beginning, and he's previously worked and he was supervising people. So it was really natural that I take care of all the acquisitions and like the selling part and then any kind of contract, and then he would manage the entire like a project management. And I think after that, what happened was, as Olivier said, we will start defining roles and responsibilities for everything that involved with work. And we start, segregating everything that doesn't require us being there. So we hired an assistant who can take care of all the other ones that we don't really have to. So, our assistant did all the like utility hookups or insurance management or rental property management, something like doesn't really have to be us. So we just started that way, and then after that, as our company grow, we start kind of segregating more work, like accounting. I don't have to be doing accounting. I can just work with accountant or taxes, or now we hired acquisition managers because we can just tell or train our people, this is how we do numbers and this is how we analyze deals, and they can take it. Once they filter out, then we can finally go and visit only those that really passes along. So that's kind of how we've been doing. Like right now we're at the point where we want to hire project managers to manage 100%. So we already have one project manager. We'll probably have one more project manager so that Olivia doesn't have to manage projects anymore. And then we can continue to go out and, focusing on acquisition and, maybe like a building more, like a more rental properties or, like a maybe storages or something like that.
Are you guys, I think it's such a great idea on the acquisitions person, is that person obviously probably, I assume, has a real estate license or no?
Both of them have a real estate license, and both of them, they know what the wholesaling means and what is off market. So they go after on and off market deals.
Did you end up paying those that role as a salary, or are they obviously they're taking down deals and they're probably earning commissions one way or another?
They're 100% commission based, which is great because they're commission based, so that the typically seller will pay them, or will pay them if they bring off market deals. But we are paying other people anyway. So our point was like, why don't we just have it in-house? Because we pay other brokers or other wholesalers when they bring deals. We just guarantee we'll at least buy 2 from each of them every month. Then they have a steady income and they don't have to go out and trying to find the buyer.
Right. That's awesome. Totally awesome. So let me ask you though, in the reverse. So you have delegated out and segregated out all the things that other people can easily do that you don't need to participate in, which everybody should be doing. Mm-hmm. What are the things though that you guys think you should never let go of, that you always need to be involved in? Is there like a top, 2, 3, or 4 things, tasks that you feel is your role to stay on top of? Rather than segregate that out?
I think definitely on the acquisition part, I think we would always review the deals. I guess we trust only our numbers, but we wouldn't feel comfortable having somebody find the deals and decide to take it or not without our approval.
Right.
The thing for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys do any of your own marketing, or you pretty much just work with wholesalers and people? You guys probably have people bringing your deals on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's kind of what we try to do, marketing ourselves, but we found out we don't like it and we are not that good at it. And I know it's a really important thing in the business, but we are really not. We don't really have time to do it, or we don't dedicate enough time for it. So we focused a lot on building a strong wholesaler family network around us that brought us a lot of deals. So far, we didn't have issue on finding deals by looking at everything they send us and pick up the I can.
Yeah, I get you. That's actually a very, very common response from big rehabbers. Is none of them I find do. I mean, well, I don't want to say that. Many of them don't do their own marketing at all. They do it kind of how you guys do it. Rely on networking and relationships, and that's always worked for them. And obviously, that's a great way to get deals. So I just find I like to keep stats. I find it all interesting, right? Because seems like you'd be able to delegate that part out, right? If you wanted to.
Right.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Question for you. So are you guys, how many deals do you buy that are, because you have a license and you have, well, let me first ask you, having a real estate license, how does that impact your business at all?
I think actually it's a really great thing to have, because now I have all the knowledge and, the knowledge and, specialty that licensed people do have. So it is definitely a plus for me. And, sometimes I do purchase properties through my license, and, I used to list all of my listings too. So it increases the amount that we can actually, net as well. I stopped doing it. Our acquisition people, they actually do all the listings too. So, we just pay them a certain amount, and I don't have to actually deal with, all of those anymore. But I think
you paying your acquisitions person a flat amount, or, I mean, obviously you're giving them repetitive over and over business. So I imagine, right?
Yeah. So we pay flat fee for each listing, regardless of the, the sale price. And if we purchase any properties through them, they do list their own.
Right.
That's how we structure with them.
How many properties are you guys, like what percentage of your properties do you buy that are listed where you have the benefit of using your license versus just off market? Like what's the percentage you buy from wholesalers or on market, or
I would say 90% of wholesalers.
90% wholesalers. Do you guys JV with other investors, or are you pretty much just buy them out?
Well, we've been doing 100% ourselves. We are very open to JV. We get JV requests time to time. So the way we do JV, we think that there's 4 things in real estate or this flipping. first, there has to be a deal. Second is the funding. And then there's, construction crews. And then fourth is the project management. So the way we do JV is the partner has to bring at least 2, and we can provide another 2. So if somebody has a deal and crews, we can do funding and we can do project management, or, so any combination of those 2, they can do more than 2. We can bring a deal and they can the whole thing afterward. But we are very open to doing any kind of joint venture structure.
Have you ever done a JV with a seller?
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, we've done twice, actually.
And how was that? Was that a good experience, or?
It's a 50-50. One really great. The other one, we made money out both of them. But one, the seller was really nice. It was really easy to deal with, and it was awesome. The second one, she was a little interesting. Yeah, a little different. So
yeah, because I think that when you either seller or JV with the other partner, whoever, I think it also very depends on if you set the like roles and responsibilities and expectations clearly. So our very first JV with the seller, it was our first experience, so we didn't really set those clearly, and that kind of came back to us, and so when we did the second seller financing, we actually knew exactly how to define contract. We made sure that lay out all the roles and responsibilities and expectations and everything else that we can think of. And I think once you have that, there's no problem.
Exactly. So what's your team look like these days? How many people on your team, and what roles do you have? We know you got the acquisitions person. And you guys opened your own office. You actually officially opened your own office, which is spectacular. Congratulations.
Thank you. Actually, we've been renting this office for 2 years, and we're actually moving to a bigger one because we don't have enough space for
more offices.
So in our company, so obviously we have Olivier and me. Olivier's been doing most of project management, and he does all the SOW and also networking. And I've been doing a lot of acquisition and listing and any kind of financing. But we have office assistant who handles pretty much 100% property management. And he also does a lot of different types of work, the utilities, insurances, or anything else. We have a project manager. So she just started, and she's having actually 3 projects that she's managing. We also have a project manager intern, which is a free resource. She just gets the credit from her school. So she's taking a class pretty much. And she does very simple work, but she does an awesome job. And apart from that, we have 2 acquisition and listing specialists.
But they're all paid commission only, right?
No, actually, our office assistant is a W-2. He was a commission, not commission. He was hourly part-time last year, and we switched him to W-2 this year.
Yep. Awesome. That's good. I'm sure. And you're probably looking to hire more.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking for right now?
A good project manager.
Project manager?
Yeah. That's really the next one we really need right now. It's another project manager. Because
awesome.
we have 11 deals going on right now. And they are obviously all over the place. I wish they were all in the same neighborhood, but so,
do you guys buy in Pierce County, and what are you going all counties in Washington here, or are you trying to stick between a certain zone?
That's the funny part of it, actually, because we are open to anywhere, Pierce County, King County, anywhere else. But most of our deals so far, they came into King County.
Yeah.
I guess it's because of the price point. Somehow we could get enough money that we don't really have limit on the money, so we can buy more expensive flip. So which is less competition for us than if we go to Pierce County, where the price is lower and there is way more competition there. So that's pretty much we end up in King County most of the time.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's get to the husband and wife stuff, which is whatever.
You don't want to get there.
So now we know you guys are structured in the way you run your business. Now the next question is, how do you find the balance and keep your sanity and keep your relationship alive as a husband-wife team with 3 kids.
Well, if I tell you, he doesn't remember my name.
That's right. How do you guys do it? Tell us the secrets. What is it? What are the tips that you have? There's a lot of husband-wife teams out there that, you know, they either love each other or hate each other, I guess, or they find somewhere in between. I'll assume that since you guys are popping off the kids, that you guys are still in good shape on that department. But tell us some secrets. How do you guys do it, and how do you cut it off and say, okay, it's our time now? How do you separate it?
I think the first secret is to have the same goal. I mean, I think a lot of people have the issue, a lot of couples have the issue because they don't have the same goals and go different direction, and that's create a lot of problems. So luckily for us, we definitely have the same goals and we know what it takes to get there. So it helps a lot for sure. Yeah. That's the first thing.
Yeah, I think, you know, we have the same goal in terms of, you know, where we want to go and all that, but we do communicate. Believe it or not, we are like literally we spend 20 hours a day together out of 24. So in that time, we will always discuss different things. So we don't make decisions alone. You know, if I, you know, have something and I always ask him, you know, what do you think about this? And then vice versa. So we communicate throughout the day. And because we have the same goal and we have the same ethic, it makes it really easier. And, you know, we don't really have a time where like, let's not talk about our business. You know, so we enjoy what we do.
It's part of our life. So.
Yeah, it's part of our life. So we actually love talking about our business. And wherever we go, even if it's a break, and we talk about, you know, maybe, you know, we should study about this, or should we do this? You know, so we always talk about our business, and that actually brings us together even more because, you know, we see the same and we wish the same.
And
for passion.
And for the kids, we try to dedicate some time off with them when we come back home in the evening or early in the morning when we wake them up, and on the weekend as well. Usually, what we do is one of us go to work, and the other one stay with the kids. So we try to balance this way so we can both spend time with the kids. And not people living nanny, so it helps us a lot in the weekday.
Yep. Yeah. I get that. I hear some other successful husband-wife teams that they have complete separation of duties, that, you know, if the wife is the one that handles acquisitions and who picks the finishes? Who does your design?
Olivier does.
It's my feminine touch.
Yeah, he's a French.
That's so funny because Christine, you're such a, you know, beautiful, stylish woman, you know, and here you got.
What about me? What are you talking about?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that I was about to say.
Tell me now.
And your beautiful, stylish husband, but I would Christine wants her, you know, her say and all that, you know, like.
No, we definitely, we definitely, as we said earlier, we definitely communicate a lot. So I do the scope of work and I picked a lot of things, but she as well look at it, you know, and sometimes she will tell me, oh, I don't really like this one. Can we change and stuff? Or she had a good idea on something. It's oh, can we put this one? I really love it. So we share that too. I mean, I do most of it, but she's definitely into that as well.
Well, but
you guys have a 3 scheme design plan. Do you repeat your designs?
Yeah.
Or are they different?
Yeah.
So that's the thing at the beginning. You know, when you start flipping, you're all excited and you want to make every house is different. You know, it's fun. But once you start to scale up and you become a company, then you have to systemize the things. Otherwise, that doesn't work. And so we realized that okay, we need to buy more of the same materials, because if we buy more, it's actually cheaper anyway by buying more. And easier to deal with the GC as well. They understand better this way. So it actually works much better by repeating the same over and over materials.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So another thing is, you know, I think that, you know, as Olivier keeps saying, you know, we think this as a company, and, you know, we don't try to use our emotions, you know, just because, you know, I love, you know, designing and all that. But I know that's his role, you know, and I should trust in him and empower him to do a good job in what he's supposed to be doing. And I should focusing on, you know, what I do, you know, which is all the funding side and then deal side. So we just separate that way, and we just trust each other's work and judgment. And I think that's the first thing. Otherwise, if I try to go after everything, I will not be able to do a good job in what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right. If you guys have to make joint decisions on everything, that doesn't seem to be as efficient, right? So having that absolute separation of duties for sure is the key. What number do you think is, for those listening out there who have that? I mean, I call it sometimes a problem, like where it's a good problem, but it can also be limiting, where people are so into the design aspect of it that they just won't do the repeat finishes stuff. How many homes at a time do you think somebody could be doing separate designs on before they get maxed out? Is there like a threshold? Like if you do more than 4 at a time, forget about it. You're not going to get past that if you have to pick and choose everything different on every house. Do you have any feedback for anybody on that? Because I think we're trying to give a wake-up call to those who have the dreams of scaling. Like, sorry, guys, you're going to have to get, a little systematized and very systematized in your selection of finishes and that stuff.
Right. I think the problem is not the number of house, is how you deal with the contractor. And the problem is the contractor level on the flipping side. They are not that experienced as the new build, for example. So you cannot treat them the same way. So if you make the things complicated, that's where you're going to have issue with them. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. If you keep changing the color, the paint, whatever, everything, they will get confused. And that's where you're going to have a lot of headache fixing everything. So it's really important to systemize the things, even with only 2 houses or 3 houses. And that make your life easier, because that make the GC life easier.
Yeah. That's what we actually had a conversation with another flipper. We bought 2 properties in North Beacon Hill at the end of January, and we both of them now actually on the market. One we are closing soon, and the contractor, the other investor, he was asking, how could you finish it so fast? You spend 6 to 8 weeks on each homes, and he bought different house around the corner, and he's still working on the house. And I was like, well, the difference is you do a lot of customization on all of your flips. We don't. Our contractor, we don't really have to, communicate it as much, because he knows exactly scope of work that we use in every single homes. And he doesn't make much of a mistakes, and we don't really have to handhold, him. There's like a less of a communication and less of misunderstanding versus yours. You keep changing different styles and designs and every single of the flips, and your contractor, probably there's a lot of communication gap or misunderstanding on each other, and maybe mixed in scope of work in different projects. So which is why we try not to differentiate anything in most of our flips.
That's such good advice for everybody. So it takes you guys about maximum 8 weeks typically on a standard flip to get done.
Yeah,
which is a month to 3-4 months faster than other people.
Yeah, we used to have a flip that takes forever, and we learned our lesson. And now most of our flip about 6 to 8 weeks on the rehab. Yeah, nice. And that's why we don't focus on a gut job anymore, because it takes way too long. GC are usually not that great on a heavy rehab.
Managing subs are really hard.
Managing subs as well is really hard. So if we can keep it as simple as possible, that's where the goal is.
Awesome. Do you so you pretty much work with obviously the same contractor all the time? How often have you had to switch contractors?
Oh, we are like anybody, a lot. So we the good thing, that's something I talked a lot with people. We keep our GC quite a long time, because we as I always say, we treat them well. We spend a lot of time with them. We teach them how to take care of their business, because most of them, they don't even know how to take care of their own business. So we spend a little more time with them, and it pay off in the long term, because we've been working with 4 GC right now, and 3 out of 4, they've been with us almost since the beginning. And we always have some issue with some, GCs that we fire along the way. That's happened all the time, and that's going to be like that forever. That's the way it is. But by spending a little time with them, explain them everything, be on top of them and treat them well, then we keep them longer.
Right. What kind of software are you guys using to manage your projects?
So we use a couple. So we use Smart Sheets. What else do we use?
Yeah. Well, so we use the smart sheet to pretty much track down all the project progress. And it's broke down at task level, and we can assign, who owns the task and status and all. We also use actually, somebody taught us this. We create Facebook Messenger per project, and then we add everybody involved in there. So all of our communications for specific project will be only within that group.
Right.
So we don't have to go through text message and see when did we talk about this project, because if you have only one text message, with somebody, it's going to be long. So every single project we have a Facebook group messenger, and then we only talk about the particular project in that group, so that we can always go back. Okay, let's try to find this information, and just open that group, and it's all there.
Nice.
Cool. I like
Good
it.
tip.
We do as well stand-up meeting twice a week as well with everybody. We try to get at least the project manager and office assistant, and we go over each project as well, and we update the smart sheet at the same times. Our project manager updates the smart sheet while we talk about all the progress we had on every deal, or the progress in the company, or whatever it is.
That is fantastic. So what else do you guys got? Tell us more. What are the systems?
Well, one thing we do to keep everybody motivated is we include them in the goal. So what we do is we have 2 goals a year. One the first half of the year and the second half of the year. So it's 2 different goals. If we reach our first goal, so for example, this year, if we reach our first half of the year goal, we are going to New York all together, paid by the company. And if we reach the second part of the year goals, then we go to Hawaii next year all together.
Nice.
And I think it's important, because if you get too greedy in this business, that's where you burn your wings and you disappear in 2 to 3 years, whatever. So we don't mind spending extra money on this kind of stuff, because we believe that it pays off in the long term.
For sure. No doubt about that.
And
are you guys... Go ahead, Joe.
Does that include the whole team that are like the acquisitions people as well, or just the W-2s?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because everybody's involved at different levels. So we want to reward everybody.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. But going back to the tools and systems, we actually use Dropbox. So we can, literally there's no one single file in somebody's computer. Everything is in cloud. Which allows us to be able to access from anywhere. In case I don't have a computer with me, I can access it from my phone. So everything we do, we're trying to make sure it's all somewhere and anybody can access it easily.
Yeah.
Because we like traveling, so we're not often here.
Exactly. So is there anything this year that you need to tweak with your goals to stay on track? Or are you guys looking pretty good? Are you ahead? Or are you guys all going to New York? I mean, we got about...
It looks like we are going to New York.
Yeah, so we actually, our first half goal is getting $300,000 in net profit, and all of our rentals are remodeled and rented. We will probably reach that. We have 4 listings going live this month, and 2 actually we're closing 2, and we already closed 2 earlier the year. So I think we are good for the first half. We just have to start, lay out more for the second half, so that we can meet the second half goal too.
Fantastic. So what is each of your, Christine, you go first. What's your favorite part of your biz?
I think it just makes me feel alive. I had a really good job for a long time. I had a job that a lot of people envied. I climbed the ladder really fast. But I think there's different types of satisfaction. Like now, this is our business. Whatever I do goes toward to my dream. And it just, I feel like every single day I'm so happy to, work, and how many hours I work, and I feel so fresh.
That's awesome. I feel the same way. How about you, Olivier?
Well, I definitely like the fact that every day is different. You always have the same thing over and over again, but there's always new things going on, good or bad. So it makes your day excited. So I really love this part. One day you're going to wear a suit. The other day you're going to wear jeans and a T-shirt to be in the mud, although we don't do that much more. But so that's definitely the fun part of it. And all the networking is awesome to meet all these people that most likely have the same goals, and we talk with all these people together and enjoy it. So we love all that.
And are you guys started with Fortune Builders, or did you do Fortune Builders? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you still engaged with them, or is that part of your network, or how does that work for you guys these days? That in your
We definitely use the Facebook page a lot, although we don't comment there anymore. But I wouldn't say we use the tools anymore. We did at the beginning, and it was really helpful to build the base. But honestly, not anymore.
Yeah, I think. We definitely are. We definitely see the huge benefit of joining Fortune Builders because we did got a lot out of their system and education. We are at the point where we don't really need their system as much, and we're a little too busy to engage more than what we hope. So we're not really with that.
How about is there any podcasts aside from ours, right, that you guys love and that you listen to, or any I guess I'll say real estate gurus? Who do you educate? How do you get educated? We all need continuing education, no matter where we've made it to or what, whether that's inspiration, mindset, or changes in the market, tips on stuff like that. You might have your systems down for your business, but everybody needs to continue to educate and be inspired. What do you listen to, or do you go to any annual events that keep you on that path, or are you just in lockdown mode because you got so many kids and so many projects right now?
A mix of both.
Yeah, we actually do a lot of audiobooks. We don't really have time to read any physical books anymore, but we do a lot of audiobooks because we drive so much. We read pretty much all sorts of real estate related books. Literally all the books came from bigger packets. We read it. Any books from Rich Dad for that, we read it. Any other books, you can think of, we probably read it. So we continue to read books. That's kind of one of the ways that we educate ourselves. And we also do a lot of like motivational or inspirational books by Grant Cardone or Gary Vee and all of those too. But I think apart from this, we do network with already successful people a lot, and I think that's one of the way to learn.
Have you guys thought about applying to? You guys thought about applying to Collective Genius? Or you know what Collective Genius is?
No.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that separately. We'll follow up on that because we're starting to get short on time here. So let me ask you, let's talk about some fun stuff. Olivier, what was your favorite thing to do in high school?
Ooh.
I won't say girl because it's right next to me. And I was a shy boy, so anyway. But I'm a French guy. I'm a real French guy. So eating sweets all day long by myself, watching TV and doing sport. That was my only focus in life.
What sport was your sport?
Well, I actually played table tennis for 15 years back then. Yeah. So I'm pretty good at it. So I can kick ass to anybody want.
Table tennis, is that the same thing that we call here ping pong?
Ping pong.
Yeah, you can call it that way. But
okay, it's on. We're going to have a summer SIC barbecue, and we're going to break out the table tennis. How about that?
Yeah, go bring it over.
Yeah, we should do something fun with that, like wholesalers against rehabbers.
That'd be fun, yeah.
Wins, gets a deal, like or something like that. That'd be cool. How about you, Christine? What about you in high school? What were you up to? What was your favorite thing?
Well, I partied a lot, and I danced a lot. I was totally into dance when I was in high school. So I did some modeling and I did some dancing in Korea. So that's all I did. I didn't really do anything else.
Awesome. Joe, how about you?
Oh, in high school, I actually partied as well. You wouldn't believe it.
So are we saying that it's good to party to be successful later?
I guess so.
Rites of passage. Rites of passage.
Yeah, partied and sports. that was
Were
it.
you into the fitness thing, Joe, in high school, or?
I played a lot of I played baseball, soccer, and basketball in high school. And then I went and played college baseball. So baseball was a huge focus. And I did work out, but yeah.
What position were you on baseball?
I pitched.
Ooh, of course you did. Yeah. Of course you did. Well, how about now? What are your hobbies now aside from raising kids, or do you even have time for any hobbies?
Not really, no. We love to travel. We try to travel as much as we can. We actually have a lot of traveling coming up starting this summer.
Yeah.
So we are going New Mexico, Alaska, Hawaii, and probably New York.
Yeah.
Different places. Exactly. So we try to travel as much as we can. And we usually love to do hikings. We didn't have much time to do it, but we want to get back into that.
Yeah.
It was a little young, so now we can start to do it again. So hikings, camping. We love all that.
Your girls are not old enough for this, but my new thing this year that I'm going to be attempting to try, considering I live almost on the water out here, is the whole stand-up paddleboard thing with my kids that are third graders. They're 9. They're going to be 10 years old. I mean, literally right out here in front of our house. And going to try and do that and even bring Buddy along. I think Buddy might.
We actually have a paddleboard too. We do paddleboard as well. So we can definitely come to your house and do paddleboard, barbecue. I'm inviting myself to your house right now.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing out there? Yeah. No, you guys, that would be fun. Sorry, everybody. We're just making our personal plans now. But you're all invited to come along. If you're in Seattle Investors Club, we're going to attempt maybe to do a summer barbecue party. I have a good potential spot for that. So that would be super fun. And let me tell you what, it is on in the ping pong, the table tennis challenge, right?
I'll brought my personal rackets to make it more professional.
That's right.
Which he doesn't have it yet.
No, I don't have it anymore.
Awesome. Well, I think we're getting close to wrapping it up here, guys. So you guys can pretty much buy any deal that anybody sends you as long as it makes sense. They're,
exactly.
You guys don't have probably a good amount of, I don't want to say unlimited, but funds to do deals. So how can people reach you if they want to send you deals? Or do you want them to reach out to your acquisitions person? Hey, right?
Yeah.
Well, they can reach out to us and then we can forward them to our acquisition person. But they can reach us at Christine with the CH, Christine at rock-pi.com or Olivier at rock-pi.com. And they can also visit our website. We have a Facebook page. It's a Rock PI. You can send us an email through that too, where you can, private message or anything like that.
Awesome, guys. Well, here's to your continued success. I think we're all envious of how seamless and awesome and glamorous. Hey, how about those presidential, what are you guys going into politics or what? Those photos that you took? I'm like, I think Olivia, you even had an American flag behind one.
I know. I love this country too much.
Well, that was not our intention, but our photographer kind of took the picture that way. It was totally not what we wanted.
That was awesome. All right, guys. Love you guys. We need to get some dinner on the books. We need to go out to dinner so we can go drinking. All of our high school hobbies, right?
Now we are heavy drinkers, so you can do it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, Joe, I'll let you wrap us up.
Yeah, if anybody wants to check out the show notes or get the contact information in writing, you can do so by going to seattleinvestorsclub.com/32. That's seattleinvestorsclub.com/32. And if you have any comments, you can always put those in the show notes at the same place. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will talk to you all soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Awesome, guys. Over and out.
Thanks for listening to the Seattle Investors Club podcast. If you have questions that you'd like to have answered on the show, shoot us an email at info@seattleinvestorsclub.com. Now go out, take that action, and build that real estate business. Thanks for listening.